Hello friends, and we continue to review the situation on the front lines of Ukraine. And today, weather permitting, the Ukrainian armed forces are trying to make maximum progress in the southern regions. So let's start with the Zaporizhia direction. As you remember, yesterday the General Staff reported that there are successes for the Ukrainian armed forces in advancing in the area of Robotyne and from Malatok-Machka to Verbove. Russian war correspondents also don't hide that they are facing difficulties here and they are gradually forced to retreat. However, as before, the Russian command orders frontal attacks, making it quite challenging for the Ukrainian armed forces to move forward. Nevertheless, it has already become known that the Ukrainian defenders from the 47th Brigade entered Robotyne with combat and organized the evacuation of civilians. Hanna Mala also added that the defenders are carrying out planned combat operations and destroying the enemy. In response, the Russians continuously shell Robotyne with artillery. The battles are ongoing there. The defenders of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade Magura also published a video of the evacuation of civilians from the village in the Melitopol direction. The fighters reported that after 2 months of fierce battle, they managed to break through the heavily lit enemy defense line. Similarly, the Russians are trying to shell the entire front line as much as possible to hinder a counterattack. So far, there are no major changes along the front line. We await the outcome of these attacks. In the meantime, the Ukrainian armed forces continue to shell the enemy in the rear. Today, local residents report explosions and a massive fire starting in Berdyansk. In the direction of Vuhledar, offensive actions have currently ceased. However, unfortunately, at this time, the occupiers are building a new defense line behind Staromayorsk and doing everything to make it harder for the Ukrainian armed forces to break through further. Overall, the Russians are trying to patch every hole, and as before, shelling continues across the entire front line. In the direction of Kherson, the occupiers continue to actively shell the entire front line, and a large fire broke out in the occupied territory near Chaplinka. Whether it resulted from rocket strikes is not reported. Unfortunately, no new movements along the front line are currently being observed, and according to preliminary information, the occupiers plan to deploy new recruits there. Experienced troops from combat operations will be moved to the Zaporizhia direction. In the Kupiansk direction, the situation remains difficult. While the occupiers cannot break through, they are applying strong pressure and the shelling doesn't cease. Currently, the General Staff report that offensive actions are underway in Sinkivka. Although the occupiers claim that they already control the village, there is no confirmation of this information at the moment.
Хочу зазначити, що противник, не дивлячись на те, що він завдає таких значних обстрілів по зоні Куп'янського напрямку, але наша оборона там досить міцна. Наприклад, станом на зараз противник утримує там більше 45 тисяч своїх військовослужбовців, понад 5000 танків, так само бойових броньованих машин, понад 3 сотні артилерійських систем і ще майже 1,5 сотні РСЗВ.
In the area of Svatove, the situation remains stable, and the occupiers are currently conducting only a minimal amount of shelling. In the Kremina and Siversk area, the occupiers continue to heavily shell villages both along the front line and strike at the Ukrainian armed forces' rear positions. However, no new offensive actions are being conducted, and the situation can be described as stable and controlled. In the Bakhmut direction, it appears that the occupiers are expanding their last reserves in an attempt to regain control of Kurdyumivka and Klishivka. There are no attempts from the northern side of Bakhmut or near the city itself to reclaim lost territories, and even the number of shelling incidents has slightly decreased. This could indicate that the offensive potential is dwindling. However, in a little time they might bring in new reserves and possibly initiate offensive actions again. But for now, it's evident that the activity is waning. On the other hand, the Ukrainian armed forces are not currently conducting active offensive actions either. They are focused on eliminating the occupiers in their positions to inflict maximum damage on the Russian army. In the Avdiivka direction, the Russians are also facing setbacks. Attacks on Avdiivka and Keramik Felt, and today only shelling continues. Further to the south, the occupiers persist in Shalin and conducting offensive actions near the outskirts of Marinka. However, they haven't achieved any successes and the front line remains unchanged. It would also be interesting to analyze the current situation with Belarus, as there have been no updates from there for a while. Currently, information is only coming in that the US has called on its citizens to leave Belarus. The reasons and objectives for this are not specified. Meanwhile, a video surfaced online showing the commander of the Wagner PMC Prigozhin already in Africa together with his subordinates.
Работаем. Температура плюс 50. Все как мы любим. ЧВК «Вагнер» проводит РПД. Делает Россию еще более великой на всех континентах. А Африку еще более свободной. Справедливость и счастье для африканских народов. Кошмарим ИГИЛ, Аль-Каиду и других бандосов. Берем на работу настоящих богатырей и продолжаем выполнение задач, которые были поставлены и которые мы давали обещание, что справимся.
In the Moscow region, loud explosions were reported again during the night of August 22, according to Russian media. Additionally, due to an attack on the Russian capital, there are damages in one of the high-rise buildings, as reported by 24 channel. Russian propagandists stated that messages about a new drone attack and sounds of explosions were coming from Moscow and the Moscow region. These sounds were heard by residents of Krasnogorsk and the Moscow region and the Strogino district of Moscow. Later, footage emerged online showing a column of smoke rising from the site in Strogino. Moreover, three major Moscow airports, including Vnukovo and Domodedovo, were closed again due to the threat of unknown flying devices. The occupiers also reported on the operation of air defense systems in Moscow. The mayor of the city, Sergei Sobyanin, announced that two drones were supposedly shot down to the west of Moscow. According to reports from Russian media, a high-rise building on Krasnogorsk Boulevard in Moscow was damaged as a result of the attack. They also added that the one of the drones allegedly fell near the building of the Moscow region government, and another fell near the highway. Images show mosquito screens being shattered from the window. Eyewitnesses also filmed an unknown piece of metal resembling a part of a drone. Eventually, the Russian Ministry of Defense commented on the attack, stating that 4 strike drones were shot down over Russian territory that night, 2 in the bordering Bryansk region and 2 near Moscow. Returning to yesterday's video in which I reported on the destruction of the bomber, more information has emerged today on this matter. As noted by Ukrainska Pravda, as a result of attacks on the Soltsi and Chaikovka airfields, two Tu-22M3 strategic bombers were completely destroyed and 2 other aircraft were damaged. The Tu-22M3 is a specialized aircraft designed with the concept of rapid breakthrough of enemy air defenses and the destruction of enemy aircraft carriers. The bomber's main armament includes the anti-ship hypersonic Ha-22N cruise missile with a lightweight, high-explosive cumulative warhead, as well as the Ha-22 PSI missile with a negation warhead and a launch range of almost 500 kilometers. Additionally, the aircraft can carry bombs and is capable of covering an area equivalent to 35 football fields in a single bombing run. As we can see, the weaponry is serious, and it's impressive that the Ukrainian military managed to destroy them. That's all from me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and leave your comments. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.